Oh, what's up, Hivers? Hope everybody's good on this 90s Friday. So doing something a little different. I usually like to bring you, 5 songs, similar vibe to 3 Tune Tuesday, but limited to the 90s. Bring you 4, 5, 6 songs, talk about the songs, and share a bunch of songs with you, put all the album information. I thought today, there's so many. It's weird because there's some songs I love in this album that I don't think are the kind of songs you hear for the first time and you fall in love with. Like, it's an album that's grown on me over the years. It is the third 9 Inch Nails full-length record. They did have an EP that had a couple hits on it from 92. It had 8 songs, but it's not considered a full-length album. So you have their 1989 record, which, of course, has, the hit single, Bow Down Before the One You Serve, Head Like a Hole. You guys know it. Obviously, their 94 record was the biggest thing ever with the song Closer. March of the Pigs. I mean, just a monster record. And then this record, I was in high school, and I watched MTV a lot, and this album commercially did not seem to do as much. I do not remember hearing them on the alternative rock station in New York City at the time. Like, I definitely heard them, but it was commercially not nearly the success of the 94 record, which is weird because I think this is the best record. It's a double album. Trent Reznor, a.k.a. 9 Inch Nails, I say this all the time, with bands like the Beastie Boys, who have a couple albums with like 20 songs. They could have easily been like, all right, we're just going to make like 6 more, filler songs, and then we're going to release 2 albums so we could make twice as much money. And instead of waiting from 1994 to 1999, I'm going to throw an album out in 97. It's just going to, I'll make sure there's a couple good singles, and I really do respect that they just waited until they had amazing work. Beastie Boys, it was 86 first album, 89 second album, 92, 94 third and fourth. So those are pretty close together. And then 98 and then 2004. And they easily could have done an album in 96, 2000, 2002. Same with 9 Inch Nails. First album, 89. He puts out an EP in 92. And then it's another 2 years until the full length comes out. The Downward Spiral, iconic 90s album. Huge commercial success. Even pop radio was playing industrial goth rock. The song Closer. I remember going to a friend's birthday party whose birthday was around Halloween, and we drove like an hour upstate New York to like a 100 hayride. And I remember hearing Closer on Z100 pop radio, like in between Four Non Blondes and the Spin Doctors, It's just crazy how huge that record was. And then I think this album's better, but it's definitely, like, the first song I'm going to start off with below is The Day the World Went Away. Doesn't really sound like a hit single. There's not a music video for it. It was not a single. I believe that he opened with this on that tour, and it's just a kick-ass opening song. It's just cool, gothy, industrial rock. But I don't think you're going to love it the first time you hear it. Just being honest. But that's what I'll start off with. Track 2, The Day the World Went Away. Then I'll go We're in This Together, which was the single. I do remember seeing the music video on MTV a little bit. Great song. Kind of more standard 9 Inch Nails, like catchy industrial rock. Let's see. I'll bring you the song The Fragile, the title track from the record. And then we'll go to disc 2. I'm going to go with Where Is Everybody? Another one of these kind of eerie, non-single tracks. I would suggest playing the whole record. on streaming, whatever. Take a little THC and just enjoy it. And then this video, I do remember the song Starfuckers Incorporated. Just a loud, catchy. I remember the music video. He's in a limo and it's kind of poking fun at like all the fake Hollywood BS. So two of these will have music videos. And two are probably kind of weird non-singles that you might not like at first, but give the record a chance. It's just crazy to me that I know fans love it, and it obviously sold a lot of records because 9 Inch Nails was just so huge. But I remember the 2005 record, 6 years later, 5.5, 6 years later. It was pretty huge on the radio and MTV. I know MTV was not playing a lot of music videos by the mid-2000s. But, I remember seeing this music video on MTV and all over alternative rock radio. So that's 11 years after the Downward Spiral, 94, which, again, was all over every kind of music station, radio station, pop, alternative, everything, all over MTV, nonstop on MTV. And this album in the middle, 5 and 6 years separated, definitely got some play, but it just was not commercially as loved. I think it's the best overall record. My favorite songs are not on it, but just as a record, I think the vibe is cool. If you're going on a drive and it's night, you're on a highway or a parkway with a lot of trees and you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, just play it cover to cover. It's a cool vibe. It's a really, really cool vibe. I don't really know any behind-the-scenes stories about it. So I'll just kind of leave it here. I just think it's worth checking out. Next week, I'll bring you 5 different songs from 5 different artists. And, this is a little more just to the point. And wanted to share a fun, cool record. Now, the song Perfect Drug came out 2 years before this album. It was in between records. It was on a soundtrack. And that, again, was a huge, huge MTV radio hit that was not on, a full-length album. Same thing in 92. The song Wish, one of 9 Inch Nails' biggest singles. And it was not on a full-length album. So I'll bring you the song Perfect Drug. Since it was the beginning of the sessions for this album where that song came from, even though it's not on the record, I'll bring you that as a bonus jam below. And since it's all from the same artist, same album, I'm not going to go through I'm not going to copy and paste, the album info 5 times. I'll just put the song title on the track and I'll put the song below. But definitely worth checking out. And that's about it. Check it out, and I love you guys. Later.